Hi, good evening. On behalf of SME Chamber of India, I would like to welcome all the speakers and delegates for this webinar. During this COVID pandemic, we all are locked down at our home and we are not able to perform our daily routine work, office work. And how we can go ahead with this technology? We have a Tata Tele Services team today here with us, and they are going to present the smart solutions for the IT for smart IT solutions for the industries. How you can work from your home using the current technology. And rather than Tata Tele, we have invited today the experts from the banking, insurance, and IT services field to speak about the various issues and the solutions, and how you can start your business after the COVID. And I would like to request the participants to raise their hand when this question answer session will be start. Now, I would like to invite Amit Gurav, Marketing Manager, Tata Daily Businesses, to give the presentation on smart solutions which enable your business to work from home more effectively. Over to Amit.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. A warm welcome to you all, and thanks a lot for logging into this webinar. Myself, Mr. Amit Gurav, I look after marketing for Mumbai region in Tata Daily Business Services. So I'll take you down to a quick presentation which will talk about boosted voice and web conferencing in the current scenario, where we all are pushing for work from home services. So my presentation is break into two parts. So one which will cover the hosted voice, which is through cloud, and the second part will be on conference services, which is a web-based. So a brief agenda which we talks about technology, challenges associated for work from home. Then we talk about hosted IVR in outbound dials. So what are the current challenges which we face when we talk about work from home? Nobody would have ever imagined, in the month of Feb and March being the crucial month that we will have to operate a work from home kind of a new norm. So the basic thing starts with a setup. So setting up the computers in the office, from the office to home, where we have accessing desk landline numbers, connect easily with customers without sharing personal numbers. Staff productivity is a key factor here. So we talk about getting dashboards. Then the most important thing is on data security. We all want a platform which gives us a data secure data. So we ensure the confidentiality of company information. We ensure that the data is secured with us. And the most important part for any organization is the compliance part. So compliance is actually a key factor in any of the organization's ISO certifications. So we do a lot of recordings and audit trails which supports. So now we talk about enabling the communication setup. How do we set up a distributed call center? In a very efficiently, quickly timed out thing, because we know that a lot of calls will end up at the customers are very hustled. How do we mass calls of employees calling clients for the personal numbers? That is the most important thing. We also take due diligence to it. Then again, the face-to-face interactions have reduced. How do we connect better with clients? You all know that we aren't moving out in this scenario where the pandemic is happening globally. So we have cut down on that, the personal meetings with our clients and our customers. So we will go digital. So here is the one of our solution, which is a hosted IVR. In this solution, we provide interactive voice response through cloud-based technology, wherein all your data is being secured in a cloud, and we do a routing of the calls. So here we provide you with analytics, we provide you with automation. So first the call goes to sales, then we have a support, and then post that we do the billing. So how does he set up for a cloud-based IVR system within hours for a call center? If we take a typical call center scenario, we have to do a distribution of a call very quickly. So this talks about a seamless customer connect, that agents can receive customer calls on their mobile while working from home. If I am in the call center, I am on the landline. So quickly I can transform this technology with the help of hosted IVR. I can I can enable my agent on his or her mobile phones. Second is a dynamic call routing. So termination numbers can be changed in few seconds on your phone. So once I have a dedicated line in my office, that can be transformed to my own mobile phone. Then we have a call hunting services, so in which we talk about multiple agents. So if one is busy, the other one can pick up the call. Then the most important thing is the analytics part. So track team's performance, call quality, missed calls through real-time analytics. So we provide this kind of services so that at the back end, if a supervisor wants to do a lot of analysis on the calls and tracking, that can be given in the real-time basis. These are the key features and the details about the product. Rather than a product, it's a solution. So we talk about number of channels, which determines maximum simultaneous call that can be received. Then we have a welcome message as a very prompt audio to welcome the customer. Then we have the IVR level 1. So the first level of IVR, for example, press 1 for purchase. Then we go for 2 for inquiry, or 3 for complaint. So we have a specific IVR which can be customized as per the requirement of the customer. Then we have IVR level 2. So 2 levels of IVR are provided. And transfer to a group call. So call hunting across numbers so that no call is missed. So if your customer is dialing your number and your call goes on the hunting line so that the busy tones are not there, and so whichever the line is free, it goes on to that agent. So call history reports is also most important factor. It provides showing the number of caller, time, duration of the call. Voice recording, yes, we do provide voice recording for 15 days for standard variant and 45 days for an advanced variant. So portal to change termination numbers. Users can change the termination number for the hosted IVR solution through the portal. So it is very easily accessible. Whoever with the admin rights can change the termination numbers. Options to upload audio prompts. Users can upload the audio prompts of the IVR flow on the HIVR portal. One of the most important features is out of office hours. So once the call center is, the agents are out of their office, still these things can be taken care of through a static message, which can be played or call can be transferred to a phone number. So professionally recorded audio prompts. Whatever audio which we do provide, this is with the advanced HIVR solution. For standard variant, customer can get prompt records on its own or get the additional cost. These are a few of the use cases in the industries where we have delivered these services. So hosted IVR services, business advantages. So it's a low cost to the ownership, significant advantages. It talks about significant saving due to zero investment in IT management. Everything is on cloud, so you don't have to invest on your hardwares. And real-time monitoring and analysis of traffic. This is the hosted OBD, which is the hosted outbound dialers. So we want to create a campaign. This is more of a marketing kind of a solution. So we create a campaign, we upload it to the contacts, we upload the voice file, we schedule the campaign, and then we start the campaign. These are 5 basic steps we take care about while launching any of the campaigns for the go-to markets. How does it work? So in the banking and financial services, it works on the AI system where payment reminders, it gives you a lead generation, service calls, customer feedbacks. In insurance companies, it reminds you about your premium services. So if you want to have if you have a lock-in for 10 days prior to your premium payment, it will trigger that your payments are due. On upsell and cross-sell, it helps you, and on the customer feedback. In the healthcare and the hospitals, it helps in terms of fixing up the appointments, the reminders of the appointments, follow-up calls, and critical parties who are actually, most of them are on the social media, and most of them are digitally savvy. They run the election campaigns, their awareness campaigns, and their enrollments and registrations, which actually helps them during the election period. Service industry, when we talk about IT, ITES, and the softwares, so this helps in scheduling the calls, it helps in payment reminders, it helps in service feedback. Even the government services, in such as emergency announcements, are to be carried out with the public services initiative and the promotional campaigns. International bridging services is one of the key products which assists you to keep your business connected globally through IVS. So it optimizes your ISD cost. So you don't have to worry about that. So you can avoid purchase of your high-end devices, or even in the offices you can control the misuses. Secure calling. So password protected ISD calling at employee level. So we can actually control and monitor the misuse of these calls. Simple to use. It is very easy. Many of the employees, you have to just dial the number and calls are through. Talk about the privacy. It is a protected privacy of an employee's personal mobile number by masking it on the international call. So the number won't be visible for the receiver. Of the use cases in the BFSI industry, how does it help? It reduces your cost by eliminating need of ISD facility. It reduces individual dependencies with direct billing and facility, and control misuse of company assets. We are, we have to be very cost conscious on these terms. So this helps in misuse of any kind of. We are coming to the second part of the presentation, which talks about the data services. So right now, each and every, due to the pandemic, we are wondering, how are we going to communicate with either with our customers or with our own employees. So we have WCS, which is on a data platform. So I'll just tell you with that. So this is the current business reality. The types of job, we have desk jobs, we have mobile jobs, we have to move out. We have to, typically a brick and mortar. We have come out of that way ahead. So right now we are into a transition of work from home. So work from home is going to be a new norm now. So it's a new normal where every organization are driving for that kind of facility and the services for the employees. So what are the business challenges? How do employees continue to collaborate? Meeting with customers, reviews, and employee engagement and development. These are the key factors which we have identified. So what are the collaboration tools? So we talk about a wider reach. So when your team, colleagues are spread across multiple geographies, you can stay connected through the conferencing, learning and development. So it helps in educating, training workforce, or even students in digital platforms. Enhance productivity, connect quicker through virtual meetings with colleagues, partners, and even customers. So we don't have to physically be at the customer's premises. We can do a virtual meeting with them. Ultimately, everything drills down to cost. So we are working on three matrix of organization where we talk about cost, quality, and time. So the types of meetings. So we have a quick meeting which is on the fly, where we reviews, vendors, calls, consultations. On the move, when a person is constantly on the move, traveling. So we connect through VoIP or audio conferencing. Online meetings. And right now we are the webinar is on, so I'm sharing my screen to present the files for reviews. Large audiences, we can address the large audiences, connect with large base. And there is no geographic barriers. Just you send a link across the globe and we all can stay connected. So how does the web conferencing help your organization? So we want to connect with multiple people at the same time. Yes, we want to do that. Want to present virtually without being physically present. Conduct reviews and record meetings. TTBS audio and web collaboration. So we easily collaborate with your colleagues, your partners, your customers for unlimited conferencing. So fixed, affordable monthly rental. No need to worry about the usage or port charges. Participants, the conference with 125 participants at the same time. We can even conduct an event. If there is an event agency and they have a registration of around 80 to 100 participants, they can easily conduct an event or maybe a large gatherings. So we have wider reach, international dial-in access from 80 countries with 130 plus access numbers. It is feature rich and secure. The most important feature of the product is it is very secure. It is on a cloud. It is very. We give you a security. We assure you about the security, which is a need of the hour. So you can have a file sharing, your chat records, and replay meetings or a secure conferencing setup. Audio and web collaboration services. So we have a desktop application, a meeting room. We're talking about the Outlook add-ins. There are the key features which it has a personalized meeting room. It can accommodate participants on a simple, easy to use interface that is designed around users. It is very much flexible audio connections. It connects audio via use my phone or even my computer. Instant meetings access, so frictionless meeting entry from any browser or any device with the same full feature experience. Content sharing made very easy. So easy access meetings, controls change the meeting type of display and file, screen app or webcam. It has a recording and sharing, so that you can record your meetings. You can simply click and you can share the meeting to your audiences. For a lot of time, in an audience registered, but due to unfortunate scenario, they're unable to log into the meeting. So you can share that the entire content with them. So we have 24/7 support as a backend, multimodal support capability, instant 24/7 in-meeting access. Even if you want to ask any questions to our backend team, they will help you out in terms of login or any friction you're getting online. A redefined mobile experience. Stay connected while on the go with one touch. Start or join on any mobile device with an adapted design. A simple and intuitive meeting room experience. If you see, we provided Dolby voice, with the HD video quality. So we can see your colleagues or your customers. You can have an interactive manner. All in one simple console. So you can just pick and choose. You can manage your guests. You can share your webcams. You can get help. So you can have an active talker. In the end, the meeting, chat, share your screen or share a file. It's very easy. It is very user-friendly interface. Some of our customers, who the testimonies whom we have. So we have Spencer Retails in the retail segment. So their problem statement was, wanted to have a daily collaboration with their sales team. They are finding it very difficult, in the physical terms to review them on a regular basis. So we help them with the services and find with a fixed rental. No usage plan to be very attractive, and it will eliminate the bill stock. Some of our customers, may fall into reality. They also had a similar problem, which we ensure that they can do their conferences, they can do their meetings over the WCS. Then we have Usha Martin into the manufacturing segment. This is into the institution, it's into education. Again, State Bank of India. So they wanted to review the sales team on a daily performance. They wanted a solution so that we came up with this web conferencing services, which has actually enabled them and the management to conduct their meetings on a regular basis. This is the Damodar Valley Corporation. the Boston Ivy Healthcare Solutions, and JSW. So we'll have a Q&A post all our presentations are done. Over to you, Mesh. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Amit, for giving the good insight of the technology and introducing a good technology to the SME sector.
Thank you, Mesh.
Yeah. If anybody has a question, they can send a question on their chat board, or they can send it to Amit directly. Amit and Amit, their team is here with us live right now. They will solve your queries. Okay. Now, our next speaker is Mr. Yashesh Sampath. Next speaker is our Yashesh Sampath. I'll ask Yashesh to take forward.
Thank you, Mahesh, for your invitation today. And thank you to Chandrakant ji, Mahesh, and the entire SME Chamber of India team. On behalf of Edelweiss Gallagher, I'm Yashesh Sampath. I head the Affinity and Association Business in India. Our association with SME Chambers of India members has been very long, and our objective has been always to add value to the member of SME, advise him rightly, and we started this visionary almost 1 year back, where through Insurance Summit which Chandrakant ji initialized, we advise the members why insurance is necessary for you to have it at the time of a crisis, and what better situation than today. Many of the SME Chamber of India members who had availed health insurance or are benefiting today because they have a security, they have a protection available for their employees, and now they can at least heave a sigh of relief that I am covered, my people are covered. But that does not mean that people who have not yet availed the policies cannot take the insurance now. The idea of today's interaction with you all, the invitees, is to assure you today that don't worry that you don't have any solution handy available, so you will have to run from pillar to post. It's not the case. SME Chamber of India, along with Edelweiss Gallagher, has brought for you multiple insurance solutions for COVID and MHA guideline circular, which mentions medical insurance also. So first, let's discuss what is a policy which we are talking about. 15th April, the MHA came up with a guideline that medical insurance for workers is compulsory. Okay. Post which we had thousands of queries from SME Chamber of India members and all over India from corporates that we want insurance which is necessary. To clarify to you, the circular of 15th April by the ministry mentions that for shops, offices, establishments, medical insurance is compulsory. Post which IRDA AI also directed all the insurance companies in India to come up with a product which favors to the common man, which favors to the SMEs, to favors to the largest of the corporates to comply with the guideline. Post which there was another circular which came on 4th of May where the guideline is relaxed. It does not mention about medical insurance, but does not mean and does not state that medical insurance is not compulsory. What all of you, the attendees, have to realize is that the spirit of that circular, the spirit of the circular mentions that medical insurance is to be given as a protection to your people. Your people are your workers. Your people are your employees. Your people are your off-roll workers, off-roll contractual employees. And today, if you are calling them to the workplace, apart from maintaining all the safety, all the hygiene, insurance as a tool is definitely which you would want to have to give it to them. And for SME Chamber of India members, also we have come up with a group health policy which is offering only COVID insurance, or a group health policy which covers COVID along with other insurances. Okay, and as simple as even 7 people as part of a company can be insured by you. I'm reiterating the word, even 7 employees come under the definition of group and it can be insured by you. We have come across multiple regulatory bodies, multiple local governments in India where they are asking medical insurance as a proof to be given. Okay, and the solutions are handy for you. you can offer multiple policies to your employees and the workers. It can be a benefit insurance also, a lump sum amount being paid on detection of COVID. You can have COVID mediclaim cover. Any claim only due to COVID, including the hospitalization, can be covered in all public and private sector hospitals. Or even you can have a comprehensive mediclaim which covers COVID apart from COVID. We have had multiple rounds of discussions at the organizational level with multiple regulatory bodies also, and multiple stakeholders, including opinions of law experts we have taken. And right now, the only advice to you people is the spirit of the circular. Please try to adhere to that, which indicates insurance is compulsory. It is there to take care, to demonstrate for your people that you are caring for them. And trust me, don't think that this will be a very costly affair at the cost of running your business. You have insurances policies right from some $400 today, $400 a year, to as low as 2 to 3,000 rupees, and you can have a 2 lakh rupees cover. 400 rupees for a 50,000 cover, and 2 to 3,000 rupees, anything in between, for a 1.5 to 2 lakhs cover for a medical, for a COVID. And this can be offered to all of you for 7 or more members. My colleagues Gaurav Chauhan, Upasana Mandala, already they're part of the call. They can send the mail to you also, or SME Chamber of India members will get emails from Edelweiss team, and you can reach out to them. My colleagues can also be reached out. My colleagues' numbers are here, which I'm just mentioning. His name is Gaurav Chauhan. You can reach him. I just typed it into the chat history, and he'll be more than happy to help you out with the insurance requirements. Or you can reach Ms. Sakshi Kulkarni or Mr. Mahesh Salunke from SME Chamber of India, and have all solutions handy for you sitting at your workplace and take care. One small example I would like to give. Today, an average healthcare cost for COVID in India is not less than 2 lakhs rupees. Compared to an average 40,000 rupees normal mediclaim in India, an average healthcare cost for a COVID, considering the gravity of the situation, is 2 lakhs rupees. And you all business owners who are listening to this, just ask yourself this question. Would you mind to pay some, say, take an example for a 10 company employees, right? 10 employees working in a company, a premium of 20,000 and cover them for, say, 1.5 to 2 lakhs rupees each, or avoid paying 20,000. And tomorrow, if they come across, God forbid, pandemic like a COVID, and then you would want to shell it out from your own pocket. The answer is there in all your minds, and I need not even clarify why insurance plays such a big tool to protect yourself. Guys, this is not a tool or platform which we want to market, buy insurance, buy insurance, buy insurance. This is crisis. This is pandemic. We want to stand by you at this hour as Edelweiss Gallagher. We have offered solutions to informal workers, formal workers, delivery partners, contractual workers, employees of the company, and we have seen claims which are coming. And claims are of not 20K or a 30K or a 40K. It is average 2 lakhs rupees. In big hospitals, 4 lakhs, 6 lakhs, 8 lakhs, 10 lakhs. Please take insurance as a risk transfer mechanism, a risk management tool for you all people, and avail it. And we'll be more than happy to help you to reach out and structure a policy. My colleague Upasana Mandal, Gaurav Chauhan, their contact details are always shared by SME Chamber of India members. We'll be also sharing the emails and SMSs to you in next couple of days' time. And post the chat today, we can also have discussions with you and have a live question answer. Or you can type in the chat history your name, your number, and we will reach out to you post this webinar or tomorrow in live.
Thank you, Mahesh.
SME
and all the members of SME Chamber of India. I'm Deepak Kumar Nana, Chief General Manager from State Bank of India. I'm sorry, I think video is not on because of some issues with our laptop. See, from the State Bank of India, this COVID position, very unfortunate situation right now. Most of the industries, houses are really impacted, and it is not only the industry units, individuals, everybody from farmer to laborer, migrant labor, and everybody is impacted, including banking part also. But being a largest and biggest bank of the country, we are here and then we are trying to help out to our colleagues, all our business establishment. We see as a banking partner, I see how the banks can provide help during this time. We see there are 2-3 ways where we see we can be helpful. One is about banking facilities. At least all the banking facilities should be uninterrupted available. All our branches should be there, ATM should be there, and all our online modes should be running up and running. All our digital channels working, because now almost 97 to 98% of the transactions are handled through a banking through digital mode. So all those things are running. I'm happy that all the banking channels are running. All our branches are open and customers are taking full advantage of our banking establishment. So this is one thing where we see we are able to provide. And there are 2 ways. When I saw the SME comparatively other places, I think when we compare with the farmers, when we compare with the salaried persons, and then business establishment, I saw the bigger role has been played by the SME, basically business establishment, because they are actually helping the farmers also, all the units also. They are also actually helping the salaried people also, because they are the maximum employer also. So all the way, all the 3 fronts, SMEs are very, very important. Other than people who are right now employed with the government institutions or some bigger corporates, others are, everybody is impacted. So if we are stand by the SME and units, then I think we'll be able to actually provide help to the country. So when we saw their issues right now in the current situation, 2 ways there are. One is about their liquidity problem. If they have because this lockdown, business establishments are affected, units are not running, so there will be definitely a problem of the liquidity. And there will be the other problem of when they are already having a debt burden and they have to pay something more, and then they need to pay loan installments as well as the existing loans, interest payment has to be done. So these are the 2-3 recent area. Because of this lockdown situation, when productions are not happening, units are not running, services are not happening. So these are the impacted areas. If I take first relaxing their repayment pressure, whatever repayments are due within this current period when units and the cash flows are really affected. So repayment relaxation, bank has already taken a view on the basis of guidelines issued by the Reserve Bank of India. So all those term loans, which are actually all those installments of the term loan, which were falling due between the March 20 to May 20, right now for 3 months, across the board, the installments which are fallen due between March 20 to May 20, everything has been shifted. So there will be no loan repayment due during the period of March 20 to May 20. So all 3 months across the board, this repayment has been shifted to all the term loan accounts. Similarly, in case of cash credit limits, because there is no repayment in the cash credit limits, so whatever interest which was due during this period, it has all been capitalized, that has been added to the account, but there is no repayment. We are not asking any money to be repaid, and this non-repayment will not be treated as an irregularity. Under no report, this irregularity will come. This is across the board, all the places, this cash credit interest payment as well as term loan repayment installment. All this has been deferred for a 3 months time. This term loan installments can be paid afterwards and then maybe at the end of the term loan repayment period. So this 3 months time plus whatever interest accrued during this period to be paid afterwards only. So this is a one relaxation which has been given to all SME units. The other is about the provision of liquidity, because these units are actually incurring fixed cost. They may not be running, they may not be requiring raw material at this moment of time, they may not be requiring other working capital facilities, but because of cash flow impacted, there are always a fixed cost involved. So they may be requiring money for the purpose of rent, electricity bills, wages, because that wages is also to be provided, salary is also. For that purpose also, bank has come out with many schemes. In fact, from the State Bank of India, we already having this scheme already started. Even the lockdown was started on 24th of March. But we came out with a scheme in March 13th, 13th of March, we already started one scheme where we started providing them a special line of credit to all SME unit based on their outstanding, their working capital limits. So there are a lot of measures has been taken by the bank. One was about the COVID emergency line of credit limits, which was given by the bank. There were another facility which bank has provided by recalculating the drawing powers. While recalculating means they all the stocks, receivables, wherever the margins were 20%, 30%, bank guarantee LC 30%, 40% margins, that has been relaxed. Somewhere it is 0 and sometime it is 10%. So those all recalculation of drawing power are already started depending upon the unit requirement. And third one is about RBI. When RBI asks us to do liberalized working capital assessment for all our units, so that is also been introduced. So there are three type of provisions bank has made to improve the liquidity. One is about COVID emergency line of credit. Second one was about relaxed drawing power. And third one was about liberalized working capital facility. So these are the three different measures we have taken. I'll come one by one. Initially, before even COVID, we started COVID emergency credit line. That was a scheme basically to all SME units wherever they are all, but only condition was these units should not be NPA. These units should not be SMA2. SMA, even the irregularity up to 30 days, even irregularity up to 60 days, or standard account. All accounts were covered. Only SMA2 accounts, which were irregularity more than 60 days, on 29th of February, those accounts were not covered. All other accounts were covered. So whatever was their outstanding, whatever was their fund-based working capital limits, on the basis of fund-based working capital limit, 10% was the ad hoc limit given to standby line of credit was given to all the customers. This money was basically to meet their temporary mismatch of fund, payment of statutory duties, salaries, wages, electricity, or any kind of payment they wanted to do. The good part was this repayment was not to be done immediately. There was a moratorium of 6 months of time for repayment. Afterwards, it has to be paid for another 18 months. So overall repayment of 2 years time, wherein within 2 years, first 6 months was the moratorium period, there was no repayment. And after 6 months, from 7th month onwards only, repayment was to start commence. The rate of interest was also very competitive. It is below even the existing their working capital limits. It is based on the 1 year MCLR. If I take the current example, what is the present 1 year MCLR for the State Bank of India, it is 7.25%. So bare minimum 7.25% of rate of interest. This ad hoc facility was given. No additional charges, no processing charge, no prepayment charge, no penalty, nothing, no additional charge, no additional security, nothing. Only existing securities extension of charge has to be done, and it's very simple documentation, very simple appraisal format, and even sanctions are permitted up to the level of regional manager, local. They need not to go to the higher committees because of existing exposures. If they're having a exposure of presently say 50 crore and additional limits are 5 crore. So it is not that 55 crore, they will go up to the 55 crore, the sanctioning powers of 55 crore, but only 5 crore was the additional limit. So up to 5 crore, the powers are now with the DGM. So the DGM can locally sanction this limit. So very special arrangements were done, and then everything was to be completed within 7 days of time. So this is one enablers which we have provided to all our SME units. And I'm happy to share that all those units, actually, it is not only from our side, from the bank side, there was a even persuasion to the branch managers, to all the units which are coming in this portfolio. Everybody has to be sanctioned this kind of limit, and almost all 100% of the units are already been sanctioned by State Bank of India, where limits and then additional limits are 10% of the fund-based working capital limit. Up to this additional limit can go up to 200 crore. It means a unit which is having a exposure of say 2,000 crore also, they are also eligible. So this is the one activity which bank has done, and they have provided relief to our existing customers, so that this 3 month time or 4 month time, when there is a lockdown, their cash flows are in fact affected. That time they can go for it. Further concession was also provided, wherein there are a consortium partner. When the units are limits with the multiple bankers. So it is taking time for them to get approval NOC from the different bankers. So there is a simplified the NOC was not asked for from all the banking unit. Only if a meeting is convened between all the consortium banker and 50% of the members with exposure limit of 50%. If they agree, the limit can be disbursed. So this is one more provision has been made for this kind of facility. And while calculating the drawing power for this additional facility, nil margins are kept nil. So any stock built up with a unit with a nil margin, zero margin, drawing power can be calculated so that they can actually get enhanced facility. Even with the receivables which are already with them, if there is a receivable and they are the present 60 days repayments receivables are covered or 90 days receivables are covered, we have added 3 months additional to that. So if it is a 3 months receivable cover period, then it will be not a 3 month, it will become a 6 month. If it is already having a 6 month repayment cover period, then it will become a 9 month cover period. So that is one more additional enabler have been provided so that a maximum people can get actual benefit out of this. Because of non-calculation of drawing power, they should not remain out of this facility. The another because of this lockdown, what we experience is many of the customer could not reach out to the branch. They cannot come and then request to our branches for availing this facility. So one more, and then many of them were not initially wanting to take this facility also. So from the bank side, what we have taken is we are already given a pre-approval for this facility. So common COVID emergency credit line, uniformly pre-approved sanctions have been provided to all the existing unit which are up to 5 crore. If the outstandings are up to 5 crore, fund-based working limit is up to 5 crore, those units across the board, pre-sanction letters have been issued to all the units. So this is one more additional facility we have done without even asking their request for this additional funding. Only, but this facility is extended only to a smaller unit which are having a limit with us up to 5 crore only, and those are which are with the sole banking arrangement. So for them, this facility has been provided. The third provision the bank has done for the improving the liquidity. It is about when the Reserve Bank came out with the guidelines to provide liberal working capital assessment so that they can get more funds and then more availability of cash can improve. So we also decided to change our calculation method, assessment method. Based on this revised calculation method, all those working capital limits which were earlier been sanctioned based on the 20% projected turnover, 25% projected turnover has been shifted now to 33% of the projected turnover basis. So now up to 33% of the projected turnover, those money can be sanctioned to the units. And the second is about the margins also, wherein earlier the margin was 25%, 30%. The margin for the stock has been kept to 10% now. Similarly, for receivables, instead of earlier 25% to 40% margin, the margin has been kept to 15%. So these are the 2-3 recent provision which has been made. And similarly, for receivables cover period, as I already said, it has been added 90 days extra. So whatever was the current sanction with them, with a receivable period of 30 days, 60 days, so 90 days more has been added so that they can get more amount for the calculation of drawing power. So this is one more liberalized working capital facility. I believe because of this liberalized working capital facility, many of our unit will be able to increase their working capital limits by 50%, 40% immediately. So this is one provision has been made. So not only additional line of funding by COVID emergency line, which is 10% of the working capital facility. This is one more enabler by way of liberalized working capital limits, wherein the existing permanently working capital limit will be enhanced to them, and there will be no additional collateral requirement. So this is all 2-3 measures have been taken by the bank so that their working capital flow can improve. Even we are also now waiting for the guidelines from the Reserve Bank of India, which has recently been announced by the Honorable Finance Minister under Atmanirbhar Bharat, wherein they have already announced a scheme wherein 20% of the outstanding as on 29th of February will be given. Though we have already given 10%, so once this new guidelines will come, there will be again, will go again to all our existing SME unit, all MSME units, and again go for a additional 20%, so that 10% will subsume within this 20%, and they will be getting 10% additionally. And this will be again collateral free. There will be no collateral will be asked for that. 20% of the outstanding as on February 20. Entire money will be given, and this repayment with the present our COVID line of credit is only for 2 years, wherein the new scheme which is now coming, it will be a 4 years term. No? So we should be all ready with our documents so that immediately those funds can be availed, and everything will be through credit guarantee cover, and this can be availed up to October. So it's a very, I think this will be a really a great help to all SME unit which wanted to avail additional line of funding, and that too without any collateral and with a very consistent rate of interest. So we are waiting for the instructions. Once this is we are ready. Our existing portfolio, we already identified all our accounts. So all those accounts which are coming under the relaxed MSME guidelines. So all those SME unit will be covered, and once the structure will come, we immediately implement the same collateral-free automatic loan for our business unit. So these are the 3-4 recent schemes which we are already implementing it. Along with that, there are other small other products are also available, like e-Mudra. Very, very small units can avail this. It's automatic. Anybody having saving account with the bank and having Aadhaar number linked to it, they can go for a e-based Mudra loan, wherein limit up to 50,000 immediately will be sanctioned, which has to be repaid in installments. So this is one basically for all ferry-wara or small unit which are having a very small exposure. And secondly, about even for collateral, our contactless platform, up to 5 crore of limit are now been sanctioned under contactless platform, wherein there is no manual documentation. Only people has to apply. They will get the sanctions limit automatically. So there are 3-4 other additional measures which are being taken by the bank. I believe once this new scheme which are recently announced by the government, once it will come, it will be additional enabler for all our unit also. In fact, even some of the unit which are actually facing the stress also because of one reason or another reason, we are liberally doing deep restructuring also. So all those units which are under SMA2 right now, we are conducting deep restructuring and through refacement of installment as well as by way of additional funding, we are doing it. So these are the recent measures which have been taken by the bank in the last 1 month and 1.5 months time, and bank is now flush with funds. So I'll wish once this time is over, I'll wish to see all our units which are already availed those facility. Documentation is already open, they are already availed. So they will enhance their capacities, they will employ more and more people to their jobs, and we'll see the prosperity coming back as the Honorable Prime Minister has announced Atmanirbhar. So we wish to see now more and more production in India, and then as well as because SME we see as a great fortune for the country. Once the SMEs are growing, automatically all those dependent on SME, salaried people also, farmers also, and all the units, even banking also, everybody will grow. So we wish to see a great future for the bank as well as SME units. Thank you, Mahesh. Thank you very much. For any queries, you can write to us cgm.lhomum@sbi.co.in, or you can write to us on the chat box.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Mr. Salunke is here right now. So over to Mr. Chandrakant Salunke, Founder and President, SME Chamber of India.
Deepak ji, thank you very much. Whatever the information you have given, I'm sure that SME sector will definitely become a Atmanirbhar, because the banks are providing valuable support. The fuel, the financial fuel, because of that only the SME sector can grow. And without bank, SME will not grow, and without SME, India will not grow. This is another system created by the government, or rather banking and the SME sector. Honorable Finance Minister, under the guidance of the Prime Minister, announced the package for the SME sector. And banking sector is one of the key sector which will be giving a proper handholding to SME sector. Because currently, without bank, nobody will come ahead to support. Without finance, the industry will not grow. After this lockdown is over, I'm sure that everybody will be facing the cash crunch. They will be having a financial issues and problems. Last 45 days in 2019, 2020, and now this 45 days in this year also. Mostly in more than 90 days, we are going to be at closing stage. And after that, when the factory will be started, there will be huge problem. First, migrant labor has already left. Labor will not be available. Transportation will not be available easily. Raw material supply will not be properly arranged by any suppliers. Semi-finished goods also will be difficult. And most importantly, a lot of SMEs have cancelled their SMEs orders cancelled by the large corporate and the export orders. So there will be a huge problem going to come, and a huge problem will be going to face by the SME sector. But nevertheless, we have to fight. We have to to survive in this situation, in this difficult situation, and therefore the SMEs are Indian SMEs rather very knowledgeable for facing problems and surviving the problems, because SME entrepreneurs himself is playing very important role. He is facing 42 issues every day. So I'm sure that SME sector will not lose their confidence, and for that, banks, SME Chamber of India, government agencies will definitely support you. Mr. Lala, the point is that still we are also waiting for the notification from the RBI. So therefore, a lot of issues and questions are raised by the entrepreneurs, that how we can avail the facility, we will avail the facility for new projects. Because I heard from 2-3 bankers that they are not going to fund for the new projects. So this is a very unique thing. So kindly answer that. If someone wants to approach for new funding for new projects, what will be the role of what will be the answer of the bankers?
Sir, he is not available right now. He has left.
He
He has another assignment, so he has left.
Okay. So coming to the point about the smart solution for the SMEs, Amit had given a very good introduction. So now Mahesh, you take forward and invite the next speaker, so that he can give a presentation. Then we can have a panel discussion finally.
Sir, we have a Himanshu Jadhav from Pune. He is the CEO and Director GendaMark India. His company is into the innovation and manufacturing an innovative product. So he will guide us on advantages of digitization for the SME sector. So I'll request Himanshu to take forward.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for inviting us to this wonderful occasion of expressing what we have been doing. Thank you, Mr. Salunkhe, for giving us the opportunity as well. As you can see, I'm sitting in the company, and that's one good sign. In spite of being in a semi-lockdown condition, we are operating since last couple of weeks now, and it just shows that every challenge is also an opportunity, and that is what I would like to explain in the presentation now from our side. What can be done in SMEs to convert this challenge into an opportunity using the digital way of working. So GendaMark is was a typical project-based company, and in the last few years we have moved towards the technological sector. And because of this migration from a typical project-based company to a technological sector, we have actually been able to sustain, and not just sustain, grow in this challenging situation. What you're seeing here is a typical project cycle in a project-based company. So we have a sales activity phase, which is shown in orange. We have an operations phase, which is shown in green. And then we have the customer location activities, which are in blue. So that's how a typical project-based company operates. Ours was operating in a similar way. pre-COVID, and that's what we normally are referring now, pre-COVID and post-COVID-19 era. So in the pre-COVID era, as you can see, the sales activities were face-to-face meetings, whiteboard meetings within company, and visiting customers at their location. And you can see this is the handshake is almost a taboo now. And obviously, looking at even the images on the right side when I was putting this presentation together was just in my mind thinking what we were doing just 45, 55 days back, and now how we have changed completely from not shaking hands, not sitting in clusters, not working in groups together. So but still, just 50 days back, that was the life what we were all living with. So typically what used to happen in the operations phase in the company was internal kickoff meetings. Our designers used to work together. That's our design office actually, where we were sitting together, sharing ideas amongst each other. Our operators in manufacturing were working in single shift. All the assembly guys, as you can see, we used to work on one machine together at the same time. On site, when we used to go on site, we used to dispatch all our machineries, have classroom training for our customers, one-to-one explanation. We used to exchange physical documentation to our customers as well. So that was how we used to work in the pre-COVID era. So I'll now take you to the post-COVID era, and I've just explained how we have now changed our way of working in the sales activities, in the operations, and in the installation activities at a customer end using digital products. So one of the first things we started very soon was, as soon as we went into lockdown, we extensively used Facebook, LinkedIn to market our new products. We did not stop investing. The marketing hours, which were typically used for travel and meeting the customer, were invested in extensive digital marketing on Facebook and LinkedIn. Then based on that, when the customers started contacting us again, and I'm talking about the last 7 weeks, based on the extensive push for digital marketing, customers contacted us for new inquiries where we made concept design. So we used Autodesk, we shared our concepts amongst each other using the several technologies available now. I've also seen the Tata Teleservices. We were using Cisco, WebEx, Microsoft Teams, Skype. All the activities were shared amongst each other, which eventually resulted in actual purchase orders. Again, I'm repeating, in the lockdown phase in the last 7 weeks. And we could execute these, and we are executing these because of one of the most important decisions as management we did in the beginning 2 years back, when we moved from a typical manufacturing company into a integrated management system, what we call as JMS, that is a Gendermark Management System. It's basically one like an ERP system, but which connects the whole company together. All the departments from sales, design, manufacturing, purchasing, finance, all are linked towards this one system. So that was the sales activities which we changed post-COVID, which effectively resulted us in getting new business as well. What you can see here now is the design. So subsequent activity was in the company. We moved as soon as within the first week of having the lockdown, we moved all our designers who were in the home, we moved the desktops to their designers. So now I've got almost 16 plus designers working in different districts within Maharashtra, outside Maharashtra as well, in Satara, Kolhapur, Bangalore. So all the designers are working from their respective safety of their homes, but they are connected to our company through the network, through a BOM linker, the JMS, and they all exchange information and data sitting in their homes and are collaboratively working using, again, the communication medias like Skype, WebEx, to make designs ready for the orders which we have already in the pipeline. So that's, again, within the safety of the homes, using technology and the digital media available, we have been able to continue our design activities as well. Then the most challenging part has been manufacturing and assembly. I'm sure you all have heard this several times in a lot of videos. This is also within a company, which you must have seen everywhere else as well. Social distancing, our operators, which being addressed by our managers when we started 2-3 weeks back. The temperature checks of in and out employees going in, going out. We did a lot of audits and checks as well. So that's because one thing which we can't change is physical bending, cutting of the machines and the material. That is something which we have to be ready with. We have to operate in the same way. What we did and what our engineers, our software division did is the additional processes which were being added now because of COVID-19. How do you make those, instead of becoming difficult to monitor and difficult to implement kind of a process, in using the digital platform into an easy to do and easy to monitor system? And that's how we came up with a new software which we call as Odin Health. So what this software does, I just put a couple of slides together again. So this software typically is going to screen the employees which are coming on to the company. We will have pre-qualification surveys done. We will have daily surveys done. Obviously, temperature check-in, check-out, which is a norm, a mandatory thing. And I believe it will be for a long time that we will have to continue this. We also have to have incidents management and compliance. So we are pretty confident that compliance will on the implemented rules and regulations by the government will be a mandatory thing. So we need to have documentation ready of how we are ensuring the new rules and regulations. Most challenging part which we have experienced now since 3 weeks in operation is the behavioral safety and morale of the employees. There is a massive change, and you can take our experience for that. When employees are coming back to the factories after being at home, confined to their 4 walls after 2 months, the mindset needs to change. We need to encourage them, motivate them, and what we are calling as incentivizing their performance and their presence in the company itself. That's also one of the reasons why we have the Odin Health app. Then we have procedural safety, important. I'll explain this a bit later on. Role-based safety, how we are having role-based safety defined for each employee who is coming from different departments. Apart from whatever safety norms which we are following and safety practices, we have to be ready for an unfortunate eventuality that somebody is going to be COVID positive in our company. And that's unfortunately we have, as a business community, as SMEs, we have to prepare ourselves for that worst case scenario, that how we will react if and when we find somebody as COVID-19 positive in our company. So one of the way of doing it is agile resource management, where we are planning shifts in a way that we are able to distribute our employees across departments in different shifts, where the knowledge is spread across different shifts, so that in case something goes wrong and we have to quarantine one shift, the company still can go on. That's all what the business continuity part model talks about. And last but not the least, in this world right now, there is too much communication. And I think we are bombarded with a lot of information from WhatsApp, news channels, media, emails. The question always arises, what to trust and what not to trust. For any employee who walks into the company, it's a paramount important that he understands what information should I trust. So we are creating this platform, which is a single source information. We are laying out procedures for individuals so they can understand what they have to do. And of course, there's a reporting tool as well. So let me just give you a glimpse of how this operates. So what you can see over here, it's an app, like you have an app on your phone. It will have several tab buttons. And once you are at the gate of your company, all you have to do is click on the Scan Me option. So once you click on the Scan Me option, a barcode will come out, which will be scanned by the security guard at the entrance. As soon as he scans the information on his phone, the security guy has logged you inside the company, has verified who you are, and now using the temperature gun, he can measure your temperature, enter the temperature in his own app, which will be available to the employee as well once he enters. As soon as the employee is detected above 37.5 degrees, he will not be logged into the company, which ensures that you are having a stop at the gate itself. So that's one of the features of this. It's not left to writing down, and I'm sure most companies are today struggling with writing down information of employee number, employee temperature, in-out timings. In 5 seconds, this information flow is taken care of. Once the employee enters, then he can have an option of reporting a health issue in case of himself or in case of any of his colleagues who is not feeling well. So that's also an option where the employee can type in, I have a fever or I have a running nose, which automatically gets sent to the HR, to his manager, and to the health and safety officer in the company. So that's a direct information flow without any bureaucracy in between. The next critical point is the company notice board. Like I explained, that there could be several options of several ways and channels of information. On this phone app, you will get all the policy information which the companies are going to roll out with COVID-19 specifically, or in general also the new policies which are going to be available, or the old policies from the pre-COVID era will all be uploaded on this web app and on this app, and the employees can download and read and have it as a quick handy tool information available for them always. We can also upload videos. So if you think of a safety video, how to behave in a canteen, how to enter into a shop floor, such videos which are seen on Facebook and WhatsApp now can be specifically shot for your own company, and they can be made available on the mobile app. So one of the next features is a notice board. So what we realized is there are general policies for every employee of the company. In addition to that, specific to a particular department, because now we have employees who are partially working from home, employees are full-time working from home. Then we have employees who come thrice a week to the company. So specific to the department, we have an option now of the employee having his own notice board where he can see specific policies for him or for his department. So that makes it more customized to his department. Again, you have the same option of PDFs available as well. Apart from that, the next feature is web links. So like we said that we have so much information available, and the employee now is confused which to believe, what not to believe. Here we have given the option now where the employee, the company can select which information to believe. Like if you have the Government of India, Arogya Setu app, the WHO guideline, so we can select the news which we believe as a company is a perfect news for our employees to have, and have it available for them to quickly check and for any information they would like to read. Subsequently, there's also a regulation which we have been following now is about screening. So now every day when you are entering the company, you are supposed to give a declaration which says you are not having any of these features. So this is one example of self-screening. When you're leaving your house, you can go through this and you can submit your report. So it's also a compliance point that all employees inside the company now are screened. So what we call a self-screening before they are reaching the organization as well. Then we have also added a feature of survey. So this survey feature is a customizable assessment tool which allows management to create assessment that can be pushed to the whole organization. So it's not just limited to the COVID-19. You can actually have a survey across the whole company on any implementation of a policy which you would like to do, and you would like to get feedback from your employees. That's a survey option which allows the management to take direct feedback and what we call as unfiltered, unbiased, pure feedback coming from the employees straight to the management. The next is also an assessment where the employees, and we recently conducted this assessment a couple of days back in our company as a trial basis, where we had 15 questions given to our employees and they had to give answers back on those questions. And today, in fact, we gave out some prizes to our employees who were the top 3 or top 4. Now, this allows us to keep a track of, are the employees genuinely reading the information thrown to them, or they are just looking at the information and passing it on. And this, mind you, this assessment is a mandatory thing which can be linked to the payroll. So if your employee does not do the assessment, he knows that he will not have his salaries coming in. It's just one way of making sure that the assessment is always ensuring that we are not just giving information, it is read, understood, and implemented. And that's the key feature of the assessment tool. So that's one example of the Odin Health app, which we have developed. The employee also gets an option of his own to see what was his temperature in last weeks, so he can understand what's his own trend. The next, where does all this information go? The whole information collected, the audits, the temperatures, the policy reading, assessments, these all go and sit with a health officer who can now monitor exactly what is the individual health status. Again, mind you, not just a physical health, the behavioral health status. If an employee does not take an assessment or a survey, what's wrong? So this information is coming on a direct basis to the health officer, so he can engage with the employee to understand what is the reason why a particular employee is not following the policies. We can decide alerts and notifications, which will ensure that no employee gets through the company or is left without any information. So that's the employee or a health officer features. We'll come up to we are also adding some new features. One of the important features which we are adding and which we have experienced when we have started a company is, when I enter a meeting room or an office or a desk, how do I know that this desk which I am now going to operate and sit on is sanitized, is safe for working? So what we're implementing is small barcodes on each desktop, desk area, safe area, lunch, canteen area, moving area. So where the employee, before he enters the area, using the same Odin Health app, can scan the barcode in that area and he can see when was the last time this was sanitized. Because again, we all know we have to sanitize, but it has to be implemented every step, every day, day after day. There is no optional things. And to ensure that nothing is forgotten, this barcode area mapping and scanning is going to be very vital. So if there is something missed out, if one day, for example, we don't have the cleaning agency coming in and doing the cleaning, we have to block the area. Because remember, there's one mistake which anyone would do and it would end up with the complete business being shut down. And so this is the reason why we are bringing up these new features very soon. Also, you must have heard about the Bluetooth social distancing management app, which means if I now come in or close contact of 2 meters, my phone will buzz, which will tell me I must step away. So these are some features which are getting added to our app as we speak, and will be available as the days progress. So that's primarily the Odin Health app. Again, that is taking care of the manufacturing area. The next step was, again, now that we have moved out of the company to the service and on-site support. Like I said, we are a project-based industry, which what we do is we build machines, we build assembly lines, and we supply them to our customers. So once we now are at the customer end, what we are trying to build is a solution for smart resource planning, where we don't have big teams at the same site at the same time, but we break them in an intelligent way of resource planning to ensure that there are minimum teams available at each time, so that we don't have to have a big crowd at the customer end as well. So we are working on this as well. Only in the next few weeks, when we'll actually go on site, we'll be able to test this solution. What we already have is a documentation. So typically in I would say the pre-COVID-19 era, we had huge box files of documentation getting printed in our factory, getting sent to the customer, and the customer manually handling it and reading through it. Now, what this does is it encourages point-to-point contact. One file read by someone, kept aside, picked by third person, kept aside. So this was what we wanted to avoid. So what we have developed now is what we call as the documentation solution, where all the information is actually kept on the cloud or on the server at the customer end. So sitting in the company here, we can upload all the documentation for the customer at his server, or it's kept on cloud, and without anyone actually physically touching anything, can download the information again on his phone, on his laptop, on his desktop, and get access to the information. The last solution on the on-site support is the training module. Typically, a training used to always happen when we used to send our employees. There used to be a classroom training. We have 15 people in a classroom and one training guy giving training. Again, the post-COVID era does not allow this. So we have implemented AR, that is augmented reality training. VR training. Mr. Sarunke actually has experienced this once when we presented him the solution of virtual reality in Mumbai in the office as well. So we have executed this now. We are giving training, sitting in our offices to our customers at their end. So that's one of the new features which has come up. Last, post installation, when we have now service support. So again, when a customer will call, something is in breakdown, how do we now react? Typical old pre-COVID era was sending someone on site. So the person has to get into a vehicle, drive all the way, get into the customer end, and expose himself to the possibility of getting infected. So what we came up with is what we are calling as the Odin TMS, that is tool maintenance system. So what a tool maintenance system does is, for the employees, the young engineers, so this is where we have made the partition, is as we all know that COVID-19 can fatally affect the older generation. So to keep them safe and home is important. But unfortunately, we also know that the experts are they have become experts by the experience they have, which cannot be substituted. So to cater to this problem, we developed a Odin TMS app where the young engineers who are available in the company but don't have the experience, our software will guide them. For example, if you can see on the top, this is a simple mechanical tool. We have some measurement information which needs to be collected. So we are guiding an unskilled, not experienced employee step by step to do the measurements, which is a simpler task, can be taught once, put in the information in the tabular form. Based on the information which is filled in, there can be analytics which can be done by the system, and this information gets now sent to an expert who is sitting in his house, and he'll analyze the information which is given to him from his house and suggest any corrective actions to the team on the site in the factory. This allows us to use the expertise of an experienced person sitting in his house and at the same time keep the factory running as well. This expert could probably talk to 3 or 4 plants at the same time. The important thing is getting the information in the right way, in the analytics in the right way, so a quick decision making can be done by an expert person sitting in his house. That's the Odin TMS platform. So in conclusion, what we have achieved in the last 2 months is sales sector or sales segment of the project life cycle is 100% digitalized now. We have ensured in the last 7 weeks through digital marketing, through use of technology. Like I explained, that we have been also lucky that we have also received orders, which was quite unheard of in our industry in the beginning, in this last 7 weeks. So we have 100% digitalized the sales phase, and it is effectively working for us. The operations phase, unfortunately, like I explained, we cannot digitalize it 100% because bending metal, cutting steel has to happen still. What we are doing is making the process easier, making the process simpler, and using tools which I forgot to mention, that remote monitoring of your machinery. We can make our operations digital, so we have not as many as expertise required to come inside the company. They can operate and monitor the performance of the machines, productivity from the safety of their house. The last phase, of course, where we have to still test it, and I have to be honest, we are hoping we reach 70%, but again, because we have not actually gone on site anywhere to implement these things, so it's in a planning phase, but we hope by smart planning, we will be able to digitalize 70% of the solutions. Already the TMS, the virtual reality training, these are already in existence and they are working. So we are quite sure that by these use of digital technologies, we will be able to minimize the risk. And as you can see, the business will actually thrive. So everyone who would like to use this, and like the seminarist rightly called, convert challenges to opportunities. We have got these tools available. The Odin Health app, actually one of our CSR decisions also has been that we are giving the Odin Health app at a very nominal price on a monthly rental charge, like your phone bill. a monthly postpaid rental to our customers who wish to avail this, just to make sure that they have a tool. The intention is not behind earning a lot of money by making the app only for gender markets, for everyone to use. So feel free to let us know if there is something which you would like to collaborate us with. And again, like I said, this is not what I have told everyone in our company as well, is these are extraordinary situations and we need to respond with extraordinary measures. And these are some of the measures which we are taking. And thank you, SME Chamber again, and Mr. Saranke for giving us the opportunity to share this. And I hope it was interesting for everyone. And if there is any questions, feel free to let us know and I will be happy to respond. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Himanshu. This is a good ideal example that how we can use the technology, digital technology, and the virtual reality to boost your manufacturing, as well as how you can keep safe your employees. So, if anybody has a question, please write to in the chat box for Mr. Himanshu also and for Tata Teleservices. Their team is available here to reply you. Now we have a next speaker, Mr. Kamal Dharewa. He is a director from the KD practices. So Kamal, take it please.
Sure. Thank you, Mahesh. So hello everyone, and thank you SME Chamber and Chandrakant ji for providing us the opportunity. In fact, what is more exciting and interesting right now is the speed of innovation we are looking at. And Himanshu ji just mentioned about the kind of apps which they have developed with the speed and with all the restrictions of having working from home. I guess this is what we as collectively can really achieve. So I have a presentation which I'll share. Just give me a second. Yes. So it is generally always difficult to be the last person speaking, as I am between you and tea break. So let me start quickly about what are the key actions which entrepreneurs or MSMEs today can take to manage their business and people, especially when we are resuming business during COVID and also after COVID. Hopefully we could see a vaccine soon. What would be our focus for the next 20 minutes would be about business continuity planning, crisis management, liquidity management. Our SBI speaker, Mr. Deepak Lala, spoke about liquidity and upgrading IT infrastructure and business processes. So of course, a lot of automation needs to happen after we see people working from home. So a small overview, what is happening right now, everyone, the MSME sector is looking at reduction in demand as well as impact on their supply chains. Every company experiences a major gap in cash management. As we all know, MSMEs are the worst hit, and there has been a lot of talk about government package, which has been announced by the finance minister for most of the MSMEs. And so the need of the hour is to stem failing businesses and save livelihoods, because MSME is one of the most largest sector employing a large number of people. So what actions are currently needed during this period for most of the MSMEs? You need to have a clear vision where exactly we are going. Yes, there are uncertainties which are prevailing due to the current crisis, but we need to identify which are the potential issues which we are currently facing and which are the issues which we might face due to COVID issues. We need to define short-term business scenarios. Definitely, where people are in a lockdown phase right now. Once the business opens up, in green zones, it has already opened up. People are trying to reach out to us to identify what are the kinds of issues they will face or they are facing. We are helping them in identifying those challenges and create a long-term strategy. So right now the strategy is to survive. It's a survival strategy. Then the strategy would be for revival, and then of course those who survive and revive could thrive. So the key resilience activities which we have to focus can be divided into two parts. One is the short-term measures which we have to take right now. Probably a lot of SMEs has already taken some steps, and they are already taking some steps currently. And the long-term measures which we need to take to revive and thrive. So creating a war room, what does that mean? So as MSMEs, we have our key employees. What we need to do is continuously monitor what is the situation for our businesses, what is the situation at our customer end, what is the situation with our employees, what is the situation with our vendors. So you need to have a leadership committee, make a team. Right now, in this crisis moment, you have a lot of employees who are showing leadership traits. Use those employees who are showing leadership traits to become a leader for your organization. Identify them, formalize agendas, let your team know what are the key decisions you have to make. Take their help to identify the situations, brainstorm about solutions, and support and monitor responses. So one of the key things what we did was that we identified, so for our own company, what we did is our managers, we identified with them, yes, this is the situation. How are we going to help? How are we going to work along with our clients who have got data on cloud or who have who don't have any data on cloud? How are we going to help them? So that, and there we realize what are the issues our clients are facing currently. And that's where a lot of solutions came up from our employees. We engaged with our clients. We tried to educate them about how they can use tools and technologies to make sure that their business is up and running. Working on your SWOT. What is important right now for most of the MSMEs is to assess which are the revenue contributors and what is their order book status. Of course, there has been a lockdown. A lot of orders has been cancelled, as been mentioned by Salukheji also. But we need to identify what products can we make which can be useful in the current situation. So we need to identify what is the financial and operational impact on our businesses. For that, you need to make sure that you have a hold on your cash flows. You continuously need to assess the situation, continuously need to find out what are the challenges your suppliers are facing, your customers are facing, and find out solutions probably which we would have never heard of earlier. Assessing revenue contributors, coming to that, let us identify what are the services or products which is current demand in current business scenario. So a lot of our customers or our clients have identified which products can be used during this scenario. They have modified their products, they have innovated with their products. As simple as food manufacturing companies have also started innovating about bringing in products which can help boost your immunity, for example. So these are the kind of innovations which are happening right now. So what you need to do is you need to find out which are the products or services which you provide can be helpful during this period. Find out what are the pending service orders and their future viabilities. Of course, the impact is very huge. You need to assess situation at your customer side. You need to find out what works best for your customer. Plan effectively for 2020, and even though there is uncertainty. Another is to forecast your financial and credit needs. As our banker partner, Sri Deepak Lalaji mentioned, banking sector has come up to help the MSMEs to assess their credit needs and find out what they need, and they are giving emergency response as well. So you need to find out what do you need right now and what would you need 3 months down the line or 6 months down the line. Planning that of that cash flow would be very important. Understanding your supply chain challenges. Many companies are not able to send you material. Find out how can you get the material so that you can start your production back. If it requires for you to check on your people availability, find out what kind of people. So as Himanshuji mentioned, identify the key skills which are required for opening up of your business. Find out which are the employees which are important, and make sure that they are available or competencies similar to those employees are available with you. Check on your IT infrastructure to enable you real-time reporting and decision-making. So far, MSMEs have not been very keen on adopting IT as a tool to support their business. But with COVID-19, I'm sure this thought process would change completely, and we would adopt technology which would help us save our businesses. Assessing challenges of our suppliers and customers, our service providers, connect with your key suppliers, assess business impact on their business operations, and what if scenarios. What if he is not able to provide you raw material? Do you have any other source to get raw materials? Do you have any other source to get the key services which you require? Assess those situations so that when you start up, you are ready with answers to these questions. Connect with your customers, identify what are they facing, help them if they are facing any challenges. If you can connect them with people who can help them right now. Plan your supply chain and operations accordingly. Study your competition, discuss with your competition. Right now, I would not say competition, it's about collaboration. You can discuss your ideas openly with your competitors and discuss with them how you can collaborate and work together. The new normal would be about collaboration. Explore ideas, innovate. Innovation is at the height right now. As we can see, GenderMark, they have come up with such innovative solutions in less than 3 weeks and 6 weeks. That's really great. And I guess most of the MSMEs have to come up with such kind of innovation for their products and services. Make your cash flows. Very important. You need to make your cash flows for the next 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, and 12 months. What are your receipts? What are you expecting collections from your debtors? I'm sure you would be facing a lot of challenges, but it is very important that you have a nerve on your collections. Call up your customers, request them to pay whatever they can. Call up your vendors and tell them whatever you can pay. Do not stop the cycle. It is very important that the cycle of cash flow keeps on running. So keep on paying and keep on receiving. And that's how your cycle will keep running with the cash flows. Analyze your expenses, what expenses you have been doing for the past 6 to 12 months, and what expenses which you would not need. Eliminate those expenses which you feel are unimportant for your business, because right now saving cash is the most important thing. Again, controlling cash position, identify if you can give additional discounts to your customers so that they can pay up early. Work on high margin products. You can stop business with tricky customers who tend to tell you that, oh, I'll give you payment, but they don't turn up. So work with customers who are ready to pay you. Collect your receivables faster. Ask for advances. The hotel industry has come up with advance coupons, which they have been selling to their customers, that when everything opens up, please come back at a huge discount. We'll be happy to host you. So these are the kind of innovations which are coming in for collecting your receivables faster. Try to get more credit period from your vendors. Delay deliveries if possible. Try not to halt anything. Track your due dates and use them to the max. Renegotiate for your fixed expenses with your vendors, your rent vendors, your all other kinds of vendors where you have got fixed expenses. Make sure that you get the best possible deal so that you can save on cash. What is important again for your working capital management is to defer your interest payments. Of course, a lot of MSMEs have used the benefit of 3 months moratorium period, which have been provided by the banking sector to the MSMEs. Yes, that's very important. You can defer your tax payments, but ensure that you pay them up after the 3 months or 6 months period when you get additional lines of credit coming in, because that's very important. Assess your inventory. If you feel that your production cannot go up to the levels which you previously had, if you can liquidate your raw material inventory as well, that could be one of the solutions to raise cash flow. Communicate with your employees. I'm sure a lot of MSMEs have been facing challenges with respect to payment of salaries as money is not forthcoming. Communicate with your employees. I'm sure they will understand with respect to a deferment or pay cut. Our employees are the key people. We have to discuss with them and communicate with them openly. Explore avenues where you can raise funds on call. Your working capital limits. There has been an automatic increase in working capital limits. That's very good. Review your P&L account and continuously monitor your cash flow. That's very important. Please note that profit and cash flow are two different things. So even if you are a profitable company, you may not have cash available right now. It could be in your debtors, it could be in your inventory. So you need to explore how can you get cash back into your books. engage with experts, understand how can you take benefit of the package or the relief which the government has announced, the collateral-free loans of 20% of your outstanding credit, your overdraft limits. Of course, you would have received your tax refunds as well. And if you are working with the government sector, you would be receiving your credit dues as well. Statutory relaxations have been announced by the government. There has been TDS rate reductions, extension of time limits, moratorium on loans. So there are many things which the government is trying to do. Of course, they will definitely help us along with our cash management practice. So this is very important for you to ensure that there's been a PF benefit which has also been announced by the government. Please take benefit of that as well. Now, what is another more important thing is communicating effectively. Communicating with whom? So during the time of crisis, it's very important that everyone stays healthy. So the most important point of communication with your teams would be if they are good, they are feeling okay. As someone mentioned about behavioral changes, yes, they will happen. Please empathize with your employees, your vendors, your customers, but keep communicating with them. That's very important. You need to understand that your employees, your customers, your suppliers, they depend on you, and they definitely need an assurance from you that yes, you're going to perform your duties as and when the need be. So your business response and your readiness will come out only when you keep communicating with your various stakeholders. That's very important. Of course, stay positive and motivated during this time. Explore new learnings. I'm sure with these webinars, with these online digital tools, we've all started learning. We've adapted so fast with the technologies which are coming in. So yes, let us explore. Let us keep learning. Let us explore technologies. Let us help our employees to upskill themselves or reskill themselves. Right now, you can use various online training modules where your employees can reskill themselves, do exercise, yoga, meditation, strategize and plan for what's going to come. It could be worst, it could be best. We don't know what's going to come. Let's prepare for the worst and hope for the best. This too shall pass. As KD Practice, we have been successfully doing internal audits, process re-engineering for a lot of companies. We have been writing SOPs, COVID-19 SOPs as well. We've been doing a lot of cost optimization, saving on costs, which you have been for various companies. We have been developing system developments. We have been helping companies in ERP implementations and going digital as well. So that's our expertise as KD Practice. How are we helping right now? Of course, all our employees are working from home, equipped with their laptops and phones. We are preparing cash flows with various scenarios so that we can help our MSME clients who make sure that they are up and running once everything becomes normal. We are writing COVID-19 SOPs so that you can restart safely. We are identifying areas of technology upgradation which are required by companies so that they are prepared for future risks, and we are identifying and implementing cost-saving measures with a lot of companies which are our clients as well. So about KD Practice, we are one of the largest growing business consulting company working with our clients, helping them, giving practical solutions. What's important is practical and implementable solutions. So we have been doing that for last 10 years, and I'm sure we continue to do that. That's it from my side. Thank you. Thank you, Mahesh. That's it from my side.
Thank you, Kamal, for giving the good insights and what companies have to take the precautions and what they have to do in this COVID situation and post-COVID situation regarding their finances, their employees, etc. So I'm very much thankful to all the delegates and the speakers. And if anybody has some sort of a question, they can write to us regarding the finance, regarding your queries with the banks, your queries with the government. We will be SME Chamber of India will be helpful to you and will help to the members. I request all those who are not a member with the chamber, they can be a member. Thank you very much. And here is we are ending the session. Thank you.